gentlemen. But without further ado, let's get the next two fighters into the cage.
Face up, face up. I've been going hard for that. Face up, face up, face up, face up, face up, face up. I'm going hard. That's right. Keep up. That's right. I'll be going hard for them pesos. Keeping the battle made a move. Squad move when I say so. Better bring the dollar to the city. Motherfucker thought I wasn't living. Daddy gonna never could have beat it. Now my hood see that wow. Who fitted on a TV screen make the bid? Praise God for my brother. I rhyme for my brother. Swing every time it's hard. I flip that pack like somersault for my brother. And I never rhyme with something. Get caught for my beat. And without me, I don't rhyme with shit. I think I'm hard for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome firstly into the ring, fighting out of FF MMA, weighing in at 78 kilos. Put your hands together for Jake George! And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner from BST Northampton, weighing in at 18 kilos. Give it up for Nick Hayes! This is an amateur middleweight mixed martial arts contest over 3 2-minute rounds.
Okay guys, come to the middle, Okay, amateur fight guys, no headshots, yes? Okay, you both in the ball talk? Yes? Okay, any questions now before we start? Mr. 3, any questions before we start? Questions? Okay, touch gloves, keep it a clean fight, this is your time. Go.
Sticking with the young guys here, Tomek, early on the fight card of UCMMA Contenders Norwich 6. This is Jake George versus Nick Hayes, and we saw a great fight earlier on with Keir Allen versus Steve Cowham. What do you think is in store for this one?
Oh, I don't know. Nick Hayes sporting the double knee pads and ankle pads. Looks like a jiu-jitsu fighter, and he's fighting for that takedown. He wants that takedown. You can see straight away.
You can indeed. I saw the young man when he came into the cage, and he had a look of wrought iron on his face, Tomek.
Definitely, he is game. That guy is game. He's deep on a single here, right in front of us, and he gets his takedown.
He is like a dog with a bone. Absolutely relentless with his first takedown, and he got it, ladies and gentlemen. He got what he wanted.
He's in full guard here and postured up, dropping some shots. Good control.
I think it's safe to say that Nick Hayes early on is asserting himself in this fight, and that does appear to be his game plan.
Definitely is, but Jake George, no walkover, and he's defending. He needs to defend here and not allow him to pass.
He certainly is. Just saw a small smile creep over the face of Nick Hayes there as he was just dropping a few shots onto Jake George.
He is, and he's looking to transition to his back here. And
he is. George needs to do more here than just lay on his back. Looks like a stranded turtle at the moment. He's just not putting much up in this fight.
He's a little bit lost, but he's defending. He is doing well. He needs to recover guard here and trying to work for something.
I think the problem really here for Jake George is this, whilst he may be defending, the aggressor in this fight, the person who is stacking up favour with the judges so far is Nick Hayes.
Definitely, without a doubt. And he's looking to isolate his opponent's neck here, and he's looking for a guillotine.
May well be a strong guillotine locked in here. Jake George does need to posture up, and does.
He does. He escapes it well. Let's see what he can do, but Nick
looking
Hayes,
for the triangle,
very busy off his back with an armbar attempt here, and it looks like he might go. No, he lets it go.
Again, we've been treated early on. We've had young guys into the cage so far, and especially with the first fight. But again, both of these guys, not quite of age yet, but still showing good potential, especially young Nick Hayes.
Yeah, definitely. They slow down a little bit here as the adrenaline wears off. And quite a close round, but Nick Hayes in control, I think.
Yeah, definitely thus far. I would give that first round to Hayes, in my opinion. Okay, Tomek, first round to Nick Hayes, in our opinion. A dominant early on, let it slip later on in round number 1. What does Jake George need to do here?
Well, he's doing what he needs to. He's sprawling, he's defending the takedown, and he's being aggressive.
Oh, he might well have
attacking with a huge guillotine. His opponent desperate here. He sinks to the floor. That is not what he wants to do. This could be over.
That is locked in deep there. Great work early on from Jake George here in round number 2. The iron look of Nick Hayes, clearly a little bit too focused in the wrong area for Jake George.
Definitely, but the guy is very resilient. He does not want to give up. He does not want to tap, and he escapes here. And he looks to stand up. Look at this. Beautiful up kick.
I love the attitude here of Nick Hayes.
Oh, and a low blow. Oh, dear. We're going to take some time off here. A low blow, unfortunate. That was not intended. I think he's allowed 5 minutes here. Let's see how much time he takes.
Allowed 5 minutes, obviously didn't need it. Tough guy, Jake George. That did look like a rather firm low blow, shall we put it? And then almost another one there.
Indeed, but he gets his man, he gets his takedown, straight to side control as well. Let's see what he does with this.
I think we may well have found the anger button for Jake George. a little bit of motivation, let's say,
yeah,
for him to come
woke
forward.
him up as he's firmly controlling round 2 number here.
It's almost like Nick Hayes gave up his early domination in round number 1. He's
Well,
working
don't
on it
speak
now.
too soon as he jumps off the cage and gets a reversal here.
Tell you what, Tomek, commentator's curse. I can make this, turn this fight any way I wanted, just depending on what I say by the sounds of it. These guys are just flip-flopping back and forth with who's in control. It's a fantastic example of amateur mixed martial arts.
Close fight here as Jake looks to tie his man up here. And he passes into side control again.
Good work again from Nick Hayes to compose himself after that slam. Easy for a fighter when they're in that kind of situation to panic and to let slip on their focus. But Nick Hayes, to his credit, has come back. He's back in control of this fight.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's now on top, and he's looking for strikes. And well, gets the reversal again. So this will be a hard round to score.
I think I would have to give that one as a draw, personally, but we'll see what the judges say. Okay, so the way for this fight wavering so far. We've had Nick Hayes in control early on in round number 1, and it's flipped the course, and Jake George's got a little bit more momentum here.
Definitely.
Oh, a big strong knee to the head. I'm hoping that one's accidental. Referee does quite need to check that.
He doesn't seem to have bothered him a little bit, as he really wants that takedown. Very tenacious with his takedown attempts here, as he once again in side control, and Jake holding onto his head. Not really the best thing that he wants to be doing here. He wants to fight for an underhook and get off, use the cage to stand up here, as his opponent once again is going to get into side control and really does not want to be there.
No, not a great idea for Jake George to be jammed up against that cage. We've seen it again. We saw it early on in round number 1. We saw it in round number 2 as well. George does seem to be at his best when he is either standing or when he is in an advantageous position. Not the best at fighting off his back.
No, he's doing all right here, though. He managed to recover half guard and now gets a beautiful swing.
I'm telling you, Tomek, commentator's curse. Commentator's curse.
See what he does with a stand-up here. He's chasing his man down with leg kicks.
Good work and a nice
shots.
strong knee.
Yeah, indeed. And once again, grabbing onto that neck. Yeah, and he wants to...
Might look for the guillotine again here.
He might. I don't know. He's got his leg caught under him. And Nick knows this. He knows. He's driving forward. He really wants to get to side control here. He is not letting his man escape his grasp. Look how he's fighting for that leg. He is not going to let it go.
I love the tenacity of Nick Hayes. Absolutely.
Brilliant, it is brilliant, but he is eating shots here.
He
Leg kicks and body shots.
This is what the spectators come to see, Tom.
Indeed.
Two guys in the cage, tearing it up and just leaving it on the canvas.
Definitely, and once again in a close round here, as Jake is sort of just lying a little bit, taking the rest in half guard.
I think both of these guys are using this opportunity as a breather, in all honesty.
They are. He's now past the side control. They are both tired with 10 seconds left here. Let's see who wants it more. See who wants it.
Good work here from Jake George, woken up in round number 2 and has truly come into his own in round number 3.
Great fight, a great amateur fight. I would hate to score this one.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're wrapping it up here at UCMA Contenders. Give it up for both of these guys in the cage. Introducing your winner via split decision. In the red corner, Jake George. Please give it up for Nick Hayes from BST Northampton.
Usual thing, Jack. Here, come on.